Okay, so I am doing this video here because I had someone ask a question about Tacoma. They're a little confused in terms of just what they've been told or what they've heard about Tacoma. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. And this person says, "Hey Hirsch, I'm curious about moving to Tacoma. It seems like a wonderful place. I've never been there. However, I really and truly want to move someplace that is close to Seattle. Tacoma seems like a great fit, and I do want a city vibe. However, I also get a lot of different comments from people saying that Tacoma is not a great place to live and that it is ghetto. Other people will say that it's a dangerous place, and I wanted to know what your view is on this." Okay, great question. This is one of those that's been beaten to the pavement quite a bit. I don't know about the people that you're referring to. I'm not going to say that they are. Most of the people who say stuff like that about crime in Tacoma are typically coming from a racist point of view. Now, some people don't like that, but I'm just going to call it what it is. You have some that come on here in the comment sections and they will say stuff, but they're basically racist. Some of these people, I never reply to them. I just delete them. But when you go and you look at their profile, which typically is nothing, it's never an image of a person. Or if you go and look at videos that they've liked or the stuff that they watch, then you understand why they think that Tacoma is ghetto, because they're basically racist. They're uncomfortable being in a city with, especially, and we're not talking a significant population, but Tacoma has more diversity in terms of having more Black people and more Hispanic people than any other city in the area. And in terms of per capita, more Black people live in Tacoma than any other city in the Pacific Northwest, but still we're talking very small numbers. But to some people, that is a percentage too high. You see what I'm saying? There's some people who really and truly are that scared of diversity that they pretty much have negative things to say. That's the first thing. Second thing is, a lot of people want to define Tacoma as only hilltop. And they want you to think the hilltop is a ghetto. Let me tell you something. There's not a ghetto in the true sense of what a ghetto is. There's not one in the Seattle metro area. So this area of almost 4 million people, you won't find a ghetto here in the true sense of what a ghetto actually is. The other thing is, people want you to think that a ghetto only defines where Black folk live. But I'm from Kentucky and I know what Eastern Kentucky looks like. And there's not a lot of Black folk there. So you have people who have a racist point of view, and those are people who you really and truly, A, should stay away from, B, don't give them the time of day, and C, ignore everything that they're going to say, because most of what they're going to say is going to be full of bull. Here, if you come and visit Tacoma, because some of these people have never visited, they just go on what they've heard, or they went here back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, in the height of the 90s, when things were not so good. And they still believe that to this day. But you had some folks in Seattle who thought that way, and now those folks in Seattle, a lot of them are moving down here. Or they can't explain why the housing prices here are escalating much faster than they are any other place. They can't explain that. They can't explain why, I did videos before all of this escalation of people coming here. They can't explain why the city is getting, $3 billion worth of investments. So you can't go on what people say. When the hotel opened up, you had someone who's from some of these small, tiny towns way away from here, saying that, oh, well, make sure you have security because, you got a nice hotel, but that security, you need to make sure you have a lot of security because it's in Tacoma. And it's like, really? Where the hotel is like the most safest place. We're talking downtown, the Marriott downtown, the tall building. It's one of the safest places. You see girls, and to me they're girls because they're only, 19, 20. You see college girls from UW walking by themselves over there to go and get sushi at the sushi place, which is amazing. Koi, the Koi food is bomb. You have a high-end restaurant called the Koi sitting right next door, and then you have someone who's extremely delicate because they live in a town with one stoplight, and they're afraid of the big city. There's the crime here. It does happen, and I'm not going to try to marginalize that and make it small. But when you look at other places, and I've lived in other places, and I can tell you that it's not nearly as bad as other places. I had someone make the comment, I think that they were from St. Louis, and they said, their partner is concerned about moving to Tacoma. And I'm like, from St. Louis? This is not a dig at anybody, but St. Louis? You have a concern about Tacoma? But you can't even compare the crime rate between St. Louis and Tacoma. It's like, so I think it's just because people are very well, misinformed, and they think there's just this dangerous, place. And when people actually come here, they're like, oh, this is a great place. I like it. Someone made a comment, it's very underrated. And it is. There are other people here who tell me don't talk about Tacoma because we don't want people to move here, right? Because more people means we're going to end up possibly being more like Seattle, and people don't want that, right? My whole point is to speak the truth. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people. I have no point in doing so. This is not, obviously, I don't ever go and, advertise the channel to try to make it bigger. This is not my source of income. This is not a bragging point. I don't need the little bit of money that YouTube gives me. And the other point is that there's no hidden agenda. My point is to give people facts, not to give them racist conspiracy theories, but to give them true hardcore facts. And it's not going to be the city for everyone, because there's a lot of cities I can point to that's in the middle of nowhere that will absolutely never be on my mind. I would never consider it. There are cities around the area that I would never ever consider moving to. It just doesn't fit. So it's not going to fit for everyone. Seattle's not going to fit for everyone. And if that's the case, then there's no point in talking about it. I never understood that. Like, I would never imagine living in wherever, USA. And because I would never imagine moving there, I don't go to videos like that and just sit and watch. It's funny how that works. Something that someone doesn't like, they go and they watch it, or they look at it, or they seek it out so that they can comment about it. It's like, get a life. Have a life of what you enjoy. Don't go to things that is never going to change for you just because you're bored. Find something to do. It's like I tell the kids, go find something to do. I got a lot on my plate. I don't need for you to add extra stuff. Go find something to do. So that's kind of the way I treat people who have this racist mentality, because no one cares. Like, it's so old and antique and antiquated and all this other stuff. You have people that come on here, and one was a Mexican guy. And when you look at videos that he did, he forgot he did a video. The dude's my tone. And he's talking about black folks being crispy, but I'm like, you're crispy too then. I mean, just because you're Mexican doesn't mean you're going to be like Oscar de la Hoya. You're going to also have dark skin tone too. It's just, some people are just so stupid. It's just so backwards. And it's like, find something to do. Be busy. Go find a job. Something. But to answer your question, no, Tacoma is not some place that you should be afraid of unless you're just afraid of any sort of city living. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be common things that you're going to see. You're going to see homeless folks. Not everywhere you go, you're going to see, but you're going to see them. You go towards downtown or certain areas, you may see a few homeless folks. It's quite pervasive out west. No matter where you go up and down the coast, you're going to see a lot of that. Even in Albuquerque, there was quite a bit. There's a lot in Denver. It's just that kind of thing out here. You'll see a lot of it. The cost of housing does not help. And a lot of people come here thinking that they can make it. In Hollywood, they think they can come and be stars, and it doesn't happen. They end up being homeless. You have some folks that come here think I'm going to do it the tech industry, or there's going to be a lot of jobs, and there's not for them, or things don't work out and they end up being homeless. Substance abuse issues, tons of other things that lead to that. So you're going to see a lot of that. You may see some crime that happens within the homeless community, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. You may see some stuff where people are doing bad things, but as long as you're not a part of it, typically you're good. You're fine. Most of what you're going to face are people trying to steal your mail. If you're dumb enough to leave a laptop or a tablet or something of value in your car, you're going to get it broken into. I've even seen people with expensive cars, Lamborghinis, Maseratis, Porsches, park anywhere they want. Homeless people walk right past it because they're not going to just necessarily jack your car. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a carjacking here, because I'm sure people do. I haven't heard much of that, but I'm sure people can say, well, all right, that's not true. But I've seen plenty of people park very expensive cars, even near my work. Nope. So I would just say, yeah, there are elements for things like that to happen, but my hometown of Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is 80% white, has, for the last couple of years, crime has been insanely bad for some reason, just bad, worse than, it started the year off with so many different murders, more than Tacoma did just this year. So things happen, cities happen. That's a growing city that's growing pretty fast also. Things do happen, but that shouldn't scare you off from actually moving here. Talk to people that actually live here, that actually have been around and going to different places, and take their judgment based on someone who lives wherever, or who visited once, or they came here, or they read stories, or they did something. Sometimes those are some of the people who caused the problem. They were part of that criminal element themselves. And so they're just reflecting on what they did in the past. But generally, when you come here, you're going to see that it's not like that. There are some areas that are hoity-toity, right? You go over there to the north and the northeast, you're going to see some of that. You're going to see some areas that are not as wealthy. You're going to see some areas that are this or that. If you want a suburban lifestyle, we have that. You can go to some of these far away places, not far away, but some of these little suburbs that are around us. So you have a little bit of everything. But no, I would take what some folks say with a grain of salt, because they have a hidden agenda typically. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, comment. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.